Good morning. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your morning flash update for this Thursday, the 28th of February, the last trading day of the month, 2019, just after 9:20 a.m. Well, I got up at 1:30 a.m. Central Time to watch the president. And I watched the whole thing that went on, and unfortunately he walked away with nothing, but he did it in a nice way. They're friends. They weren't at the point yet where they want to move forward. You have to be able to walk away from a deal. It wasn't a joint statement. I noticed that. So now it's on to what else? It's on to understanding that behind the scenes they'll work, trying to get something done. We know that Kim Jong-un is not giving up those weapons. Will he stop testing? Will he stop development of nuclear? I think the president's getting that. But there have to be other parts to this where we at least see those weapons and can verify and see what's going on. Found it very interesting that the president was saying from the sky they see a lot more than the North Koreans thought they saw. Why would you tell that? But who knows? Stock market didn't walk away with anything positive there. And notice the metal market's still getting hit. I had mentioned that you were at that time frame. For those of you 2 weeks ago that came with us to our live webinar, and I'll have one next week, we talked that late February, you had to be careful. These metals were prime on a seasonal basis to start coming down, and it's just what's occurring. Because attention is shifting back to China, copper getting a bit nervous because we don't know what the deals are doing there. The dollar continues strong. As you're seeing, you're getting even further strength into the bonds and notes. One of the things that I mentioned on Fox Business News yesterday was I did not understand exactly Jerome Powell's testimony on Capitol Hill when they're getting this deal ready for the runoff of the balance sheet. What does that mean? If they were just leaving the sheet where it's at, I can understand that that's a bit more, if you will, not going to raise interest rates. But letting the sheet run off, whatever the plan is probably put pressure on to real interest rates, and that's what I suspect is going on. In the grain market, you have nothing to hang your hat on. As I said, you've got terrible ratios of gold. The corn seed is a big number. Excuse me. Things happen. You've got to be careful there because they're moving the seeds from taking bean acreage into the corn acreage and cotton where possible. Getting a bit of a big break now in the cocoa market, starting to let go to the downside. Sugar's starting to break down a bit too. Energy's very, very stable. Glad you're not here as I just sneezed. And no, I don't have the flu, so I'm in good shape there. Let's talk about the day, what's going on. The Chicago PMI, 64.7 versus an expected 56. Yeah, that's a good number. Nothing wrong there. Yet the stock market's not going up on it. No deal out of Vietnam with North Korea. If we take a look at GDP, up 2.6, they were looking for 2.2%. That's not bad, but that also adds to why those interest rate futures are down, meaning higher rates. The chain-weighted price index up 1.8. They expected 1.9. That's about where it was. Real final sales up 2.5%, way better than they were for the third quarter. When you take a look at GDP PCE price index, 1.5. Third quarter was 1.6. It's pretty stable. The rest of the numbers look to me pretty normal. The U.S. jobless claims up 8,000, weekly claims up 79,000. Stats Canada reported that Canada's current account deficit in the fourth quarter stood at a seasonally adjusted 15.48 Canadian dollars, and that's up. Remember the price of oil? Not doing that well, and that's a major component for them. Germany's economic data for their February CPI up 0.5% on the month versus the half forecast, and for the year up 1.6, beating the 1.5 forecast for the year. And China has said now, this is important, that their manufacturing PMI index in February dropped to 49.2 from 49.5 in January. Any reading under 50 is contraction. So I think this is 3 in a row, and the numbers are dropping. This is the lowest reading since March 2016. And in new orders, you can see down to 45.2 from 46.9. So that is another bad number. It's the lowest number in about 8 years. So basically, the pressure is on China. We've known that, and that is one of the ways that the president is hoping to get them to the table for a deal. That's going to be front and center now that the noise, or getting over the noise of the Mr. Cohn testimony on Capitol Hill, the North Korean event, and of course you'll hear other things, but China's going to be what this market wants to be all over. You know, the way that I keep up with the markets is the way that you should. I know a lot of firms charge for these. My clients, they're able to get this from us, and what we do is we put everything we have in it. If you're a subscriber to my research, it'll show. If you're not a subscriber, it's not going to show up in here, but you're going to still be able to get the quotes. Now, for a minor fee, you can get live quotes, live charts, live data, and this one has voice activation. You can say, E-mini chart, the chart will come up. You can ask it to do the quotes with it. You'll hear in the background the quotes, text to voice. You're in a car, you want a quote, bingo, just wherever your phone's at. It's like, hey Siri, hey Google, same type of thing. Access my reports. You can just say access Ira's reports. They'll be there for you. And different views that you can watch. And yes, if you're a grain trader, you can get all the crush spreads. You're an oil trader, we're going to have the stories on the oil and all the other markets. How do you get this? And it's just a simple download for either your Android or your iOS system. Give us a call. You can go to our website. We'll get you a user ID and password. That's what it is. No funds involved, folks. How do you get it? Call. That's the best way to do it. My staff will have you the user ID and password. They'll tell you where to go. If you do it over the internet, there'll be a link that comes to you. You'll get your user ID and password with it, and away you go. I think once you get it, you're going to be hooked. It's really that simple. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great day. I'll see you this afternoon.